Hi everyone, it's me, Miss Farrah Mills. Welcome back to my channel. Time for another video, and today's topic, I wanted to do a video about growing older as a trans woman because I think it's a video that hasn't really been done much, and for someone who is older and more experienced of living full-time as a woman, I'm approaching 40 and I've been living full-time as a woman for 20 years, and I just thought it would be a good idea to talk to some of the younger girls who are starting out and explaining the way things change and the way you change and your view and your approach to your transition changes as you get older, because, you know, I would have loved to have had someone telling me these things when I was younger, because, you know, things have changed a lot now from how they used to be. Trans women have a lot more options and things available to them, and there's a lot more trans people public for you to access and find things out about. But when I was younger, we had nothing. So the prospect of transitioning was very daunting because I didn't know what kind of life I was going to have going full time, because I didn't know how I was going to work. I didn't know if I was going to have any relationships with anyone. I didn't know if my family were going to accept me or my friends. And you just kind of think, oh, is it going to be dangerous? Am I going to constantly get abuse from people? You know, so I think people from my age and earlier transitioned later because we just didn't know if it was a real valid option to be able to live your life authentically. So, you know, and I just wanted to sort of say that, you know, as you get older, and this is regardless of whether you're trans or not, but as you get older, you know, in regards to your transition, you become a lot calmer. And you really start to just be comfortable with who you are and not care what people think. And this has nothing to do with how passable you are or how many surgeries you've had, if you choose to have surgeries or not. It's down to the fact of just growing up. And, you know, I can honestly say that, and in a nice way, I really couldn't give a shit about what other people think of me. I'm happy and content with who I am. And that's the most important thing. You know, I still have bad days like everyone else, but there's a difference between not coping and just having a bad day, you know. And as you get older, you just get to a point when you have to accept who you are. You have to accept the fact that you're trans. I think that's the biggest hurdle and obstacle to get over, because, you know, when you're younger, you're thinking about, you know, transitioning and living full time, and then having hormones if you choose to take hormones, and having surgeries if you choose to have surgeries. And this is very all consuming, you know, because being a trans woman and transitioning is a very personal, but it's a very selfish thing, because it has to be a selfish thing, because if you allow other people's feelings and thoughts to come before you transitioning, it will seriously hamper your journey. So you have to be selfish to get everything done that you want to get done in the shortest amount of time as possible, because, you know, we all want to live our lives authentically for as long as possible, and while we're still as young as we can be, so that we can enjoy our life as the person that we were always supposed to be. You know, so you have to put it first, and you have to be selfish about it. I was very selfish with my surgery. It became all consuming for me. And I had a few people say to me, you know, well, it's not all about you. You know, we all have our own other lives, and we don't want to sit and talk to you about this or that. But I became very obsessed with it. But I think just because it was something that was important to me, and I had to get the things done that I wanted to get done. I'm much calmer now, because I feel like I've basically, apart from a few little bits and pieces here or just general upkeep, I've finished all the things that I really wanted to get done that were really important to me. So I don't have that that kind of need to get things done. Which is also another thing I wanted to talk about as well, because there's a strange period that happens when you have had all the things done that you want to get done, if you choose to go down the surgery route. Once you've done all those things that are really important to you, that you really had to get done, you suddenly go through this very strange wave of, it's almost like depression. I mean, I've never had proper depression, so I'm not going to say that that's what it feels like when I have no idea. But I just mean it's kind of like a depression in the sense that you don't really know where to put your drive or your focus anymore, because once you've done all those things that you were wanting to do, which were constantly on your mind, you know, when you were saving money and to get all these things done, once those things have all disappeared, you're kind of at a loss at where you're supposed to focus your drive and your interests and stuff. So there is a strange period once you finish getting the things done you wanted done, where you kind of don't know what to do with yourself, because all your focus has been on something for so long that once it's done, you kind of like at a loss, and that's why this is also a dangerous moment, because this is also where you get two types of trans women. And I'm not judging anyone on this. I'm just saying that there's two situations that happen at this point, that you either continue getting lots of surgeries, even if there may be things you don't really need, but you continue doing it because you're used to that cycle of saving and getting surgeries, or you get to a point where you kind of say, okay, I've done all the things I wanted to get done. I'm happy with how I look. That's it. I'm done. But then you have to find something else to fill that time with, whether it's a job or another hobby or another skill that you'd like to learn, or a language or something. But you have to find something else to fill that time and fill that desire for something else to do. If you're the kind of person that has a kind of big drive and you have to always have something to do. Otherwise, you'll be fine. Once you've done, and it's fine. You can relax and enjoy the rest of your life. But I will say that, it does get easier, and, however hard it feels, once you've accomplished a few of the things that you really wanted to get done, and they're important to you, whether it be hormones, surgeries, name change, birth certificate, a job as a trans woman, as these things start to happen for you, and you start to tick off some of the boxes on your list, as it were, you start to become a lot calmer, because you start to value yourself more, and you start to appreciate how hard you've been working. It's very important to be aware of what you're doing, and congratulate yourself if you've done well on something, because we can have as much help as we can from lots of other people and stuff, but it's something you have to do. You have to want it bad enough to go and do your surgeries and do your transition and do everything else. So you have to do it yourself, basically. So it's important to reward yourself and congratulate yourself at each stage, because it is an achievement, and it is something that you should be proud of. And the more you do, and the more you get to the point where you feel is your end goal, the more calmer and comfortable you are with who you are and yourself. And that's the biggest thing, is as a trans woman, I would say, over everything else, that you have to get to a point of coming to terms with who you are and accepting that you're a trans woman. There's no point deluding yourself that at some point you're going to become a real woman. Being a trans woman is a real woman. You should be proud to be a trans woman. There's nothing wrong with being a trans woman. Support your community, stay part of your community. I understand about wanting to be seen as a woman in public and not wanting people to know you're trans and all that. But at the same time, you shouldn't be ashamed of being trans. There's nothing wrong with it. You've worked hard to become the woman that you are, and you are a trans woman. So just be proud of it. And I just wanted to say to all the young girls that it does get better. It does get easier. Put the hard work in, and you will see results, and you will feel better, and you will get to a point where you don't feel so much gender dysphoria. You will start to get to a point of contentment. But it does take work, and it does take a lot of looking inside yourself and self-evaluation, and you have to look at yourself, the way you behave, and your feelings towards other people and to yourself, and just find a place of calm and come to terms with the fact that you are trans, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are who you were supposed to be. Be proud of it. Own it. I hope everyone is doing good. Have a really good day. If you want to subscribe, click here. If you want to check out one of my latest videos, click here. Have a great day, everyone. Speak to you all soon.